Title: My wife said, "My ex could go 3 times more per night than you. Not to offend you, but even though his Johnny was a little smaller than yours, in his skilled hands he did miracles in bed. You should probably take some classes and lose some weight." Start: She said it like she was talking about the weather, calm, careless, cruel. "My ex could go 3 times more per night than you. Not to offend you," she smiled, sipping her wine, "but even though his Johnny was smaller, he knew how to use it. You should probably take some classes and lose some weight." The glass slipped from my fingers. It didn't shatter, neither did I. I just stood up, tightened my belt, and walked out. No words, no anger, just silence. The kind that makes people nervous because it means something's coming. We'd been together 6 years, married 3. I thought we were solid. She used to trace her finger down my chest and tell me I made her feel safe. Now, apparently, I made her feel bored. The thing about betrayal, it doesn't start with cheating. It starts with disrespect. And that night, she didn't just humiliate me, she tried to rewrite what I was worth. I drove aimlessly until the city lights turned to blur. Her words played on repeat 3 times. Classes. Lose some weight. That's when I decided something. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't beg. I'd teach. The signs were there, weren't they? The late-night showers, the sudden interest in lingerie she never wore for me, the new gym partner named Eli. I'd ignored it because love makes you stupid, but humiliation sharpens you. That night I went home after she'd fallen asleep and checked her phone. Fingerprint unlock? Easy. She never changed it. There it was. Texts that read like poetry written in the dark. "You make me feel alive again. You're so much better than him. He doesn't even try anymore." My name was never mentioned, just him, as if I were a ghost haunting her bed. She'd been seeing him for 2 months, her ex, the one she said she'd blocked. I put the phone down and stared at her sleeping face. Peaceful, innocent. She looked beautiful, and I realized beauty means nothing when the soul behind it is rotting. I didn't confront her. That would have given her control. Instead, I played dumb. In the morning, I kissed her forehead, made her coffee, even laughed at her jokes. The calm before a storm isn't silence, it's strategy. First, I made copies of everything: screenshots, messages, timestamps. Then I called a lawyer. Quietly, efficiently. She'd never see the paperwork coming. Next, I reached out to 3 women. Each one had been in my life before her. Not exes exactly, more like connections I'd never pursued because I'd been faithful. Faithful to a lie. They were smart, gorgeous, independent, and each had a reason to dislike people like my wife. One was a model she'd once insulted publicly. Another, a fitness trainer she'd mocked. The third, a journalist who loved exposing hypocrites. They didn't need much convincing. Revenge has its own gravitational pull. Over the next week, we rehearsed the moment. Timing, setting, the reveal. Everything had to be perfect. The next day, she texted me. "Dinner at 7? Let's talk." I knew that tone. She'd noticed my distance. Probably thought I was sulking, ready to be forgiven. I said yes. While she was at work, I packed her things. Every shoe, every bottle of perfume, every trace of her arrogance went into boxes. I left one note on top: "For your next performance." At 6:45, I sat in the living room. By 7, the door opened. She stepped in, smiling. "You actually came back early. Good. We need—" Her voice cut off. 3 women were sitting on my lap. Not next to me, on me. Laughing, clinking glasses, the kind of effortless confidence that makes a room tilt. Her face froze mid-sentence. Eyes flicked from me to them, trying to make sense of what she was seeing. One of the women, the journalist, looked up and said, "Oh, is this her?" The room went still. I smiled. "Yeah, that's her." She blinked rapidly. What is this? I stood, careful, deliberate, like I had all the time in the world. You told me to take some classes, so I did. I gestured at the three women. They were my instructors. Her lips trembled. What are you talking about? I handed her the divorce papers. I also got an A. She stared at the envelope, then at the packed boxes stacked neatly behind the couch. It hit her. Every item, every fold of clothing, gone from her territory. "You can't be serious," she whispered. "Oh, I'm serious," I said, stepping closer, lowering my voice. "You broke the foundation and laughed while it fell. I just built the exit." The fitness trainer, always blunt, smirked. "Don't worry, sweetheart. We gave him plenty of practice." Her eyes filled with tears. She wanted to scream, but pride glued her mouth shut. That's what I loved about that moment, the silence. The same silence I gave her the night she humiliated me. She stormed toward the boxes. "You can't just throw me out!" I stepped aside. Already did. She glared at the women, then back at me. "You'll regret this." I smiled again, that calm, surgical smile I'd practiced in the mirror. "Already feel great, actually." She moved out that night, tried texting me the next day, apologies, excuses, promises. I didn't reply. The screenshots found their way to her workplace, forwarded anonymously to her boss. Her ex, by the way, was married. His wife got a copy too. By the end of the week, both of them were unemployed, exposed, and radioactive. Funny how the truth burns brighter when you stop hiding the match. I kept the apartment, sold her designer bags, bought a new motorcycle, lost the weight, just not for her. Sometimes I replay that night in my head, her face caught between shock and shame. People think revenge is loud. It's not. It's quiet, precise, a scalpel, not a hammer. And when you do it right, you don't feel guilty. You feel balanced. She told me to take classes, so I did. And I graduated top of the class.